Bonjour, Kinamagianene Ireland Indigenicas. And you're live with a studio audience of a couple dogs. Hopefully they don't bark too much. For our fourth weekly presentation of our Week at a Glance videos. This week, you will notice that we did not have a newsletter. We're planned tentatively to send one home on Thursday ahead of our next Friday, which we'll talk about in a moment. Just as a reminder, there is our Google Stream page here within the Google Classroom. Students can access this with their @sagchipschool.net email. So if you sit with them, you can access it with them. They have to be the account to access, however, because it's restricted and not allowed to just anybody, including my other Google accounts. I have attached a website link to Bundy Hill Preserve. This will be in the email that'll be sent out within the hour. Our most recent newsletters about the new school building, last week's Week at a Glance, and you can see the September breakfast and lunch menu. Speaking of our field trip, we have Bundy Hill coming up. It's our next Friday, located in western Isabella County. It is the county's highest point. Lots of great trails. Students love going there. We may end up making more than one visit there this year. This first one's Friday, which does involve social emotional learning, but there's a lot of science material that can be very relevant to what we're doing here in class. The summit of Bundy Hill is about 1,270 feet above sea level, about 500 feet higher than our location in Mount Pleasant. Students will get the opportunity to walk up the hill, which is always good for exercise, and Ms. Woodworth will be leading the SEL portion. Looking at our Week at a Glance video, or a portion of the video, you can see what we're covering in reading and writing. Math, we're in our next chapter. We're beginning to prepare for multiplication and division. Continuing with our Web of Life mysteries, focusing on growing mold this week. Sounds exciting, doesn't it? Social studies, we're looking at the different cultural regions of the United States and highlighting some of the indigenous nations that lived on that land. You can see what we're looking at, math review and enrichment. And if you're saying, Mr. I, what's that again? It's an opportunity to spiral and review some things that we've already covered during the school year. In this case, the first 3 weeks, but also looking at different things by previewing what's coming up so that when we get to the material, it's a little fresher in their minds. Some of them may already have it, and kind of builds that skill quickly. You'll notice it doesn't say testing here anywhere. We have completed our fall testing. Now, what you'll see and hear about is progress monitoring. So we do look at some, like the oral reading, for instance. We'll do every couple of weeks to measure growth on students beyond just the January window. I do encourage our students to read at home for 20 minutes a day. And it's not a bad idea to ask them to sit and read to you. Doesn't necessarily have to be 20 minutes, but 5 minutes of reading to you would be amazingly beneficial to their development as readers. You can see our small groups that we're kind of starting to get into order here. There'll be a few more tweaks along the way. We've been doing this largely as whole groups in the opening weeks of the season, but we're going to try to break that off coming up here in the next week or two here. And you can see the Friday listed here that we just mentioned. So the very short video this week, because we didn't have a newsletter to talk about. I'm planning right now to send a video on Thursday with a newsletter ahead of our next field trip. If you have any questions, please reach out to me at mireland@sagchipschool.net or mireland@sagchip.org. If you have any questions even about the stuff that's going on in the classroom, how your students progressing early on in the season, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm more than happy to share their glows with you and areas that we can continue to work with. But I hope everyone enjoys this sunny and beautiful almost fall day. Looks the sun is about ready to blind me if I move about 4 inches to my right. So everyone have a Minogijigad, Minwa, Pamapi.